Welcome to Inspiring Business with your host, Mark Bullock. In every episode, Mark interviews others to share stories of thought leaders who inspire others by making a difference. You can find this show on www.videosocials.net and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Now here's the host of Inspiring Business, Mark Bullock.
Welcome. And today my guest is my friend and frankly a kindred spirit, Joel Salomon. Now, Joel is the best-selling author and chief prosperity officer at Salomon Prosperity Coaching. Welcome, Joel. It's so great to see you.
Great to see you, Mark, and it is such an honor and pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's really my honor, and truthfully, I just mentioned this to you before we got on air, and you're one of the people I had in mind when I created the Inspiring Business podcast. And the reason for that is I think that we have a similar mission in life, although we have completely different industries, completely different approaches to things. We're not doing it just to make a living or just because it's our profession or etc. What we do, and I know that this is the case for you, what we do makes a difference for those that we serve. And so I really kind of wanted to get into that a little bit with you today, and the fact that you used to have a hedge fund and you shut that down, and now you're doing something entirely different. It's definitely in the financial field, but it's entirely different. What's the story of how that came to be?
So, first of all, for the viewers, my dream, if you had asked me in 1992, was to be a money manager, to be a hedge fund manager. And I did achieve that dream, thankful to say, in 2008, working for a large bank. And then after being laid off from that large bank, I started my own fund. And I was doing that and living my dream. And I thought that that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And in December of 2015, I went to a personal development course, and two things happened there that changed my life. The first thing that happened was we had a guest speaker speaking about stocks and stock options. And when he spoke about stock options in particular, he made it sound like this is the only way to get rich. He said, you don't need much time, you don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich, and options are essentially risk-free. And I had people tapping me on the shoulder, whisper in my ear, Joel, does this make sense? Are options really riskless? So after he was done, we went out of the auditorium, and I told him, please don't do this. He has no idea about your earnings or cash flow or tax status or risk tolerance, and most importantly, no idea about your belief that you could become rich using stock options. Now, the second thing that happened at that course was we were given a wooden board 2 inches thick, and we were told we're going to break it with our bare hand. I don't know if you've done that, Mark, but there was a lot of fear in the room. A lot of fear. The exercise was called Obstacles Are Illusions. And on one side of the board, we had to write our biggest obstacle. And then on the other side, our ultimate goal, which stumped me for a while. And then it hit me. Make everyone in this room financially free. A few minutes later, I broke that board like everyone else did in that room. I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. First, the guy was in my head. And I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak in front of 200 people, see, my biggest fear in life on December 10th of 2015 was public speaking. Right. If I could ever get up the courage to speak on a stage, I could be authentic, not mislead people, tell them the truth about money, and be of service. And then the second thing going on in my head at 3:30, 4 in the morning was that wooden board staring back at me across my bedroom. Make everyone in this room financially free. And I think it hit me at 4:30. I jumped out of bed, quickly got dressed, was at my office in Midtown Manhattan before the sun rose. and I sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down my fund. I figured out my true purpose in life.
Wow. Wow. What a story. So I won't get into my story, but very, very similar or parallel kind of path where I was in technology and basically although I pretty much had the rug pulled out from underneath me, that before I realized that I needed to reevaluate my life, and ultimately came down to I wanted to help others, right? And that and for me that was what led me to my mission, which is I make a difference for those who make a difference in the world, right? And so one of the reasons that I do this podcast is because I'm trying to highlight people like you that are making a difference in the world. And so thank you for that wonderful story. And you're a content creator now, and in that process of content creation, what kind of freebie do you have for our listeners today that they could get more information and maybe something that's can help shift their mindsets a little bit about money?
Absolutely. So one thing I recommend people do is act as if. Act as if what you want to happen has already happened. So I have a white paper called The 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make. The 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make. So act as if you're already a millionaire if you're not, those watching, and text to the number 66866 NMR for 9 Money Rules. That's the name of my second book, 9 Money Rules. And if you text the number 66866 NMR, you will get the 5 Mistakes New Millionaires Make, along with a couple of other surprise freebies. I won't tell you what they are, but there's a couple of others that I now include in that as well. But read that white paper and act as if you're already a millionaire. And then actually avoid those mistakes, right? Don't do what is in that white paper. And so you'll be taking the steps as if you're already a millionaire.
Fantastic. In other words, put yourself in the shoes of, be in the position of, and this isn't pretend, because I also have studied the concept of act as if and use it in my own coaching, and that is really taking on the role. Like I am that, and I'm going to take on that mindset, because without that mindset, you're not going to get there. And if you're pretending, right, and often I say it's like an actor or actress acting in a role. They take on that persona, they take on that belief set in order to be convincing to the audience. They have to be convinced themselves that they are that.
Right.
That person,
if you can convince yourself, there's a great quote from Wayne Dyer's book, bestseller, Wishes Fulfilled. Make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So make your future dream a present reality by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So if you could feel the feeling of being a millionaire, how would that feel for you? How joyous would you feel? How freeing would that be? How stable and calm and peaceful would you be? And if you could actually, before you go to sleep tonight, feel those feelings, close your eyes and feel that abundance and prosperity and freedom and calm and peacefulness, and then like do that consistently, you can actually create that abundance in your life quickly.
Just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you are writing another book now. So you've got how many published now?
Yeah, 3 published, and the 4th is on its way. And a woman reached out to me and in my network and said, she's a purpose coach. And she said, I want to write a book with you called Purpose and Prosperity. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that, and I completely agree with her, that people are more prosperous when they're doing their purpose, when they're on purpose, when they're doing something they're passionate about, right? And, think about it. If you're watching this, think about like what you're doing in your life that you're not passionate about. You want to do more things you're passionate about on a daily basis, and make the decision in your mind. And it doesn't have to be work even, right? If you're passionate about playing tennis or ping pong or going for a walk in nature, do those things more often in your life, and you're creating those feelings equivalent to prosperity. You're on purpose, right? And so on a daily basis, what can you do that floats your boat, that makes you feel good, that lights you up? And it doesn't have to be the work necessarily, but ultimately it should be, right? You should be doing things, 10, 12 hours a day that are enjoyable. So it's not work. If you had asked me back in 1992, what could you do that wouldn't seem like work? I would say picking and analyzing stocks. That was my hobby. I would do that in the evenings and weekends. I would analyze and pick stocks. I was working at an insurance company, but my passion and interest was analyzing and picking stocks. And so when I got to do it as a quote unquote job, it wasn't work. It was fun.
Wow. Well, and I wanted to circle back, if I may, for just a moment, in how we know each other and how we work together. And that is, I'm the co-founder of videosocials.net. I'm also the co-founder of videointerviewpodcast.com. And what these services are were designed for people like you, right? So this is somebody who, you're somebody who, you've been in the trenches, investing, finance, et cetera, and now you're looking at the next level, which has to do with mindset and energy and everything else. And in doing so, you saw a blockade. You saw a trip hazard, as it were, and that was concerns about and lack of confidence around public speaking. Well, both of us are former Toastmasters members. I don't know if you're still involved or not, but years ago, I was gave my first speech, more than 30 years ago, gave my first speech and had an anxiety attack and thought I was going to pass out. And, a year later, I was president of the club, and we had launched 2 other clubs. And that transformation was possible because I didn't do it alone. I had a supportive group of people that I met with every week, and we practiced with each other public speaking. Well, we used that same concept when we came up with Video Socials. And it's a social environment in which people come together for a weekly meeting, 45 minutes to an hour, and we take turns practicing recording videos. And the biggest difference, and I love Toastmasters, and I recommend anyone, if you can't stand up in front of an audience, or you find that there's a lot of anxiety around that, join Toastmasters. Just do it. It will get better. But we needed to translate some of those skills into this new world of video conferencing, and we realized that, hey, if we do this and we take turns practicing, well, guess what? Some of those practices are going to be publishable. And so at the end of a Video Socials meeting, most, not all, but most of the videos that you record are going to end up being something publishable, and then you can just go ahead and publish it via our software behind the scenes. So it's simple and easy, and I know that's why you joined. But I mean, did we hit the mark for did it help you when you were involved with Video Socials?
Absolutely. And absolutely it did. And I joined Toastmasters back in January 2017. So I was a member for about 3 years, and did over 100 speeches as a Toastmaster, became Advanced Communicator Gold. And then, I joined Video Socials in 2019, around the time that I stopped being a Toastmaster. And I think I recorded over 100 videos on Video Socials. So, and I've been singing your praises to almost everyone I meet for the last few years, because yes, it did help me dramatically. In fact, you may not know this, but in August of 2022, I recorded a TEDx video that will
Awesome.
go live in the next few months on the TEDx platform. So from being the guy who, if you told me I was going to speak on stage, I would have just said, kill me, to actually doing a TEDx talk, it's been a amazing 6.5 years.
Well, and I couldn't be happier that we were able to be a part of that. And so for anyone that has concerns about being on camera, and or maybe you've gotten fairly comfortable with being in front of an audience, but you need to be able to translate that into short messages that you can get out on social media, newsletters, et cetera, come as a guest to Video Socials. There's no charge to come as a guest. There's no obligation. There's no hard sell. It's videosocials.net, and then just click on the be our guest for free button at the top of the screen. And then as a secondary to that, the process of creating a podcast like this, especially a video interview podcast, we realized it just had a massive amount of logistics around. And it's something that, a lot of people kind of go it alone, but if it's not your, if it's not your primary source of revenue, you're not trying to, quote, make money on YouTube per se, or at least that's not your prime, but you've got something else and you want to use this kind of medium to expand your message, to expand your reach, and to become a branded expert in the field by interviewing others. We created the videointerviewpodcast.com as a service to do that. And we're using that service right now, where I have somebody else that's running this studio. I have other people that are handling guest invites. I have other people that are handling the post-production work and then getting it out to the platforms, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, if you have any interest in doing this type of podcast, again, videointerviewpodcast.com. And your links, Joel, and the links that I've been talking about will all be associated with this podcast, whether it be on video or whether it be in an audio format.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention also, Mark, you may not know this, I have over 400 videos, many of those from Video Socials, on my YouTube channel. Obviously, my new YouTube channel is absolutely free, so subscribe. I put at least one video up a week still. Going forward, it will continue to be that way, at least one. And I'm also doing, I have a strategy coach now who has pushed me to do 1 minute videos. So on all the, mostly on Instagram and Facebook, I'm doing reels every day. And,
Wow.
and Video Socials helped me dramatically. 3 years ago in 2019, when I joined, if you had asked me to do a 1 or 2 or 3 minute video, I would have practiced 25, 50 times. And now I like you, I have my 3 or 4 bullet points and I go for it. And it's actually there's much more engagement and it's more natural rather than memorizing a 2 minute or 3 minute speech.
So in all of this, and thank you. And this is part of, I have myself about 600 videos. I have a couple of hundred written blog posts with phoneblogger.net, which is our first service. And then the videos again through videosocials.net /academy, by the way, again, link below. Subscribe to Joel, your channel, absolutely. But once they've taken a look at some of this content, I know that you've developed courses and various ways for people to engage and start practicing and start acting as if they're millionaires and supporting them in that process. And as I understand it, you have a major product launch that you're coming up on here in just a few weeks. How would people get to find out about that, and what is it?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So it's called the Money Miracles Membership, and we're launching again as you're watching this, it's launched. So you can actually join at the moment you're watching this, and it'll be open for a few more days. It's at my website, salomon.com/money-miracles-membership, or if you just go to salomon.com, that's SALAURMOR.com, and just click on join Money Miracles membership. So let me tell you what it is all about. So the
Great.
idea is to take you from wherever you are right now towards financial freedom as quickly as possible. It's a defined 6-month membership. There's 6 stages that you go through, where you're filling out financial freedom survey at the beginning, your money personality type survey, and then there are exercises with each video at each stage. It's a very supportive community. We have a private Facebook group, Financial Freedom Can Be Yours. You join, and people are posting their successes. You have an accountability partner, which you can meet with as much as you want, as little as you want, to get that support. And we have a Q&A, a question and answer period twice a month, where I come on and I answer any question you have about money, prosperity, money mindset, the membership itself, the logistics, anything, for an hour twice a month. And we have a reward system, by the way, which is modeled off of the Video Socials reward system. When I saw you guys did that, I'm like, this is a great idea. So we have a reward system where people can win a free book, all the way up to 3 months of free coaching, which I charge $7,500 for. So you could win $7,500 worth of free coaching, and it's only $59 a month. So over a year, or you can pay up front. I think it's $649 up front. So it's an incredibly valuable membership. I want to help as many people as possible. That's why I created it. I realized that my one-on-one coaching, the people who are doing the one-on-one coaching, it was the same issue I had with my hedge fund, right? These are the richer people who are getting richer. And I really wanted to help the person on the street. And I realized they couldn't afford the one-on-one coaching, at least not right away. By the way, I forget to say this often, but the Money Miracles membership we're launching it again, but it's been in existence since September 1st, 2021. And members have already manifested or generated over $641,000. $641,000 I've documented. Some people are kind of shy, so I don't have the exact number, but it's over $641,000 that the members have manifested in about a year. So it's crazy, awesome stuff that's going on. And what's the greatest thing is that you don't know where the money's going to come from. You may say, okay, well, I have a business. It's got to come from a client, right? It doesn't have to. You could get a tax refund that somebody just put in our private Facebook group last week. They got, a few $1,000 tax refund. It could be just literally mail money, or money found on the ground, or, money found in your house. People, this one woman didn't realize that she could refinance and take equity cash out, and invest it and create a business from it. That was over $200,000. So just, crazy, awesome stuff is happening. I'm really excited to help more people this way. And I love, again, it's Salomon.com, click on join Money Miracles membership. It's an awesome group of really amazing people, like-minded people just like you, who are, looking to, become financially free as quick as possible.
Absolutely terrific. And if I may, I had a little bit of a story. I had said that, I had the rug pulled out from underneath me. It was about 18 years ago, something like that. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but in that process, there was, there was a foreclosure on a home, on our home as an example. So not a position that I ever dreamt that I would have to deal with, but in that process, we ended up with, after it was auctioned off and all this other kind of stuff, due to, just the bass-ackwards way that banks deal with some of this stuff, there was a large lump sum that I was pursued on for a while, long after everything else had been settled, and people had been paid off, and everything was taken care of, and then it disappeared. And then all of a sudden one day I get a notice that they charged it off, but they sent me a tax thing that it was going to show as my income for this very large sum of money. And my wife and I about had a heart attack because it was just an incredible thing. And I said to myself, I'm not going to worry about this. We're going, let me talk to my CPA. Let's, and it has to do with logistics, but it was also the mindset, right? So if I hadn't known that I needed still somebody who was not just a CPA, but was a true tax expert, and in 5 minutes they were like, oh, well, there was this rule, we'll get this. Tens of thousands of dollars of liability disappeared in a 5-minute conversation. Just happened to be with the right person. And that was a mindset that, I know that this is getting a little bit in the weeds, but that was a mindset of, don't just depend on you'll figure it out. Go to the people that actually know and work with professionals that have been in the trenches and know the rules, and et cetera, et cetera. So not just, and I'm saying all of this, Joel, because it's not just you deciding that, okay, well, it's all about mindset, in finance, and because you had some little experience here or there with mindset, unlike the person who was saying, use options. There's no risk in options. You actually know this stuff, right? So if they want to use investments as a vehicle, you've got that background, right? So
absolutely. And one thing I teach that's very important, which is the exact opposite of that stock options guy, is everyone's an individual. And so I'm not going to teach you, my proprietary 5-step stock screen unless you're interested in stocks, and and back to passion and interest, right? That's most important. If it's real estate, we'll go to real estate. Or if it's creating your own business, I have within the membership a program called Successfully Planning and Expanding Your Business. So it doesn't have to be an investment. It can be an investment in yourself or in your business. Make sure that that's successful. So it's really important to understand that you are an individual, and everyone has their own passions and interests. And I am all about DIY, do it yourself in the right way though. And so that's very important. The other important part is to know that the mindset piece is critical. Worrying, I call negative future planning. Worry is negative future planning. You're thinking about what you don't want to happen. So just reverse it and think about what you do. Right. And I catch myself all day long. I have a great reframe from my good friend and Andy Dooley, who's a mindset coach, who says if you're starting going down this path of worry and fear, you should say, stop, cancel, clear, get the fear out of here, or the other F word if you want to use that.
Well, and again, there's a parallel here in the fact that we both realize that when you try to do something like this on your own, it's difficult to convince yourself to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so whether it be video socials or basically any of the programs that we've created, and I know that all of the programs that you've created and that you're working on is about community. It's about working with others that are trying to basically have different goals and different intentions and different pathways to get there. But underneath it all is we need to be able to believe that it's possible.
Yes.
That it's possible for us to get wherever it is that we want to go. And having the support system around that, working with others that are doing the same thing so that we can support and encourage and offer suggestions and be reminders. And you mentioned it earlier, having an accountability partner in just showing up, even when we don't feel like it, even when we're et cetera, et cetera. So kudos to you, because I love what you're doing. Again, there's just tremendous parallels in what both of us are doing in completely different veins, right?
Yes.
But just fantastic.
Yeah, belief, by the way, is so critical. Belief is rule number 1 in the 9 money rules millionaires use. And, you got to believe in your dreams and your goals in your business and in your personal life. If you don't believe in it, doubt the doubt, #doubt the doubt. You got to have belief and faith in your dreams.
And that belief is spawned from conversations with others, and with not only from mentors such as yourself that can help define and clarify and see what's important, but again, having a community, and that might be a person or two, an accountability partner as an example, or that might be a community as your program is designed to provide, which is so that we can share our successes, we can share our trips and our falls, and how to get up and dust ourselves off, because guess what? We all fail all the time. And it's being able to see and position and put ourselves and our mindsets into where we want to be, rather than being focused on, see, I fell, that's it. I'll never get there. Well, that, as you said, that basically becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
Absolutely.
Joel, just absolutely wonderful having you here today. I wish we could go on for hours, but you have a tremendous amount of content out there available for people. We have a lot of content out there. There'll be links tied in with all of this. And then you had mentioned that you knew somebody, Shara, who might be somebody else that would be a good fit to have a conversation with on inspiring business.
Yeah, Chari Rodriguera is actually my co-facilitator in my program, Infinite Peace and Prosperity, which had been a 9 or 10 week course taking people through the 9 money rules millionaires use. She is a meditation and yoga instructor. She's the creator of Soul Path Yoga. She's written 3 poem books, 2 of them bestsellers, one called Love, the other Breathe. She is an amazing human being, and she has, she teaches at yoga studios, she teaches meditation, and she has her own courses and content that she's created. But I'm so grateful for her, because she pushed me when the 9 money rules came out. She actually said to me, Joel, you have this amazing book. You clearly have awesome content. What are you going to do with it? And I said, she's like, come on, the course, you got to create a course. And so she helped me create Infinite Peace and Prosperity, and now co-facilitates it with me. So she's an awesome human being. You should find her at chara.tv. She is and will be on TV and in movies, and she and her whole family as well. I know her sons are going to be movie stars as well. So check her out before she gets too big.
Terrific. And thank you for the shout out. And I certainly look forward to meeting her, and hopefully she'll agree to come and be on the show as well. So Joel Salomon, Chief Prosperity Officer at Salomon Prosperity Coaching. Again, folks, all the links will be tied in with this. And Joel, best of luck with your launch. I know that it's going to go terrific. And thank you not only for being a client and a friend and someone who has inspired me, frankly. Inspiration begets inspiration is kind of what I feel like is the overall premise of the show is that as we take the next step, as we move forward, we find energy, we find solace, we find peace, we find inspiration. And as we share that with others, that inspiration just continues to flow. The analogy of, a drop in the pond and the ripples spread, right? So thank you for being a client. Thank you for being for helping us learn what we needed to provide to be of service to individuals like you who make a difference. And thank you for being on my show.
And thank you for having me, Mark. It's been an extreme pleasure and an honor, and I'm so grateful for you. So thank you so much.
And that goes both ways, my friend. So please do subscribe in whatever platform that you use, whether it be audio or video, so that you can get additional and see additional interviews like one today with Joel. Again, thanks for joining Inspiring Business. I'm Mark Bullock, and the host of Inspiring Business and the co-founder of videosocials.net and videointerviewpodcast.com. Have a great day, everybody.
You've been listening to Inspiring Business with your host, Mark Bullock. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can catch prior episodes on www.videosocials.net and on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more.